What's happening, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to the Still Knicks Fans post-game recap. We just had our third NBA preseason game. This was the New York Knicks versus the Detroit Pistons. Hopefully everybody's doing good out there. You were able to watch the game. If you didn't watch it live, hopefully you recorded it. I actually couldn't catch it live. I had to record it and kind of rewatch some of it. I saw bits and pieces. I saw a lot of the first half. Then I had to stop watching, but I was able to go back and take a look at the second half. And this was a very interesting game. I'm still very excited about the team. I just think that we need to kind of temper our enthusiasm a little bit and take it slow, take it easy, because the team is still a work in progress. A lot of new pieces, a new offense, new look offense, the way we're running things. They still got to continue to work on the defensive end to get that same New York Knicks defense that we used to from last year. So it's going to take some time. But that being said, they still pulled it out. So, Knicks wound up winning the game. Final score was 108-100. This is what you call, typically, this is one of those trap games, because obviously you've seen the Knicks playing all types of great basketball at certain stretches. These first two preseason games. First game was, a nice sizable win. They put up 125 points. Second preseason game, another sizable win. They put up 117 points. And then you think, okay, man, first off, the Detroit Pistons don't really have a lot of star players. And then the star players they do have are hurt for the most part. The only one that's notable that most people can think of that is, really dangerous on the team is Jeremy Grant, who did play, by the way. But no, they're still an NBA basketball team. They still have heart. They still go out there, they're earning their paycheck, and they want to win games. They're not trying to go out there to get blown out. Plus, I kind of had a feeling that it wasn't going to be that easy for the Knicks. Once I heard that Cade Cunningham was going to be out, Sadiq Bey was going to be out, I'm like, this is definitely a trap game. This is one of those games where, your team that you root for, which is clearly better, goes out there and stinks up the joint because they just think they can beat this team, and they don't give the overall solid effort that you would expect from them. Fortunately for us, I don't know if it's a Tom Thibodeau thing, but I know watching the Knicks for so many years, the teams in the past would definitely lose a game like this. They wouldn't forget it. Even if they were winning the fourth quarter, it'd be over. They would fall apart somehow, find a way to give it to the other team. So luckily, this Knicks team seems to be a team that likes to battle adversity, and they're able to get themselves out of jams. And in the end, they wind up winning. So I'm cool with that. It's not always going to happen. There's going to be times in the season where the Knicks lose to a bad team. And there's going to be times in the season when the Knicks, defeat a team that most people don't give them a shot at, beating on a consistent basis, like, a team that usually has their number. But that wasn't the case this time around. Knicks started out and had a really, I would say, crazy, hectic, chaotic first half. We thought the start of that second preseason game was kind of wild when the shots weren't falling and the turnovers were happening. This was the same thing happening again. The shots were not falling. There was definitely moments where you could tell that Knicks were just trying to shoot anything and try any type of offense to set to see what sticks, because they were missing so many baskets. And then when the 3-point game wasn't working, they started to penetrate and get good looks inside. Those shots weren't falling either. So it's just one of them games. You know, it's definitely one of them games where you just have to chalk it up to it's a bad game. But with all games like this, the good teams are the ones that figure out how to still pull out the victory. Yep, I said it. You heard me. The good teams are the ones that still figure out how to pull out the victory. So think about that when you look at the Knicks and say, "Hey, they have these type of issues, these type of deficiencies." Winning games like this is what matters. And if you notice down the stretch last year to get into the playoffs, I think myself and my co-host John alluded to it in one of the Still Nick Fans episodes. Uh, we had both said it, and especially him mentioned that there was a stretch of games that were the games for the Knicks to get right. These were all, if we don't win these games, it's going to be a long stretch going into the playoffs. And if we don't win these games, we may not be looking too hot. And you know what? The Knicks won a lot of those games. As a matter of fact, we were predicting. I think that we thought down the stretch they were going to wind up with 39 wins, maybe even hit 40, and they wound up winning 41 because that's how good they played. They won two more games than we kind of expected, and we gave them a nice little buffer. We expected them to win some games. So anyway, I'm just saying like the Knicks are definitely an official real basketball team that really goes out there, hustles, and tries to get it done no matter what, no matter who they're playing. So this is definitely another one of those games where some people will look at it like, damn, how did you almost beat the Pistons? No, it was easy for the Pistons to steal this game had the Knicks not had that, that type of intestinal fortitude or whatever to make them go out there, hustle, play hard defense, and start hitting some shots and making baskets. So, this was definitely one of those games. So kudos to the Knicks. I'm happy they won. And, none of this would be easy without the play of certain players on the team. First off, let's just say Thibodeau showed us a little something by playing guys like Amir Sims. I want to say guys like Amir Sims because he also gave Knox a certain number of minutes, as again, which is good. I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen because we had no Kemba Walker today. So we already knew that Mitchell Robinson was out, Nerlens Noel was out, and then we found out that Kemba wasn't going to play. Kemba's not hurt. I guess it's just a day of rest. So it was interesting to see what what Thibodeau was going to do. I thought we might see a nice dose of Miles McBride, but that wasn't the case. I guess this was Derrick Rose is going to be in the starting lineup, and then we're going to get Emmanuel quickly off the bench, and that's kind of what we got. And then a little bit more of Alec Burks, which I guess it makes sense because Alec Burks is a combo guard who can run the point. So it's good to get him out there and get him situated comfortably because he was a big part of our team last year, and we're definitely going to need him again this year. So I'm not mad at it. I can't. Anytime I want to see something on the court, I can't be mad at Thibodeau if it doesn't happen because he usually does the right thing anyway. So that being said, the first player that I want to talk about is Mr. Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is I kind of refer to him as our stabilizing presence. He is the second stabilizing presence we have after Julius Randle. I think Julius Randle is that person we need to go to when things are getting crazy. We need a bucket. We need just, to slow down the pace. I think he's that guy. On the other end, from the point guard standpoint, I think Derrick Rose is definitely that guy for us. He seems to orchestrate and control the offense, and he's just a solid player. Like every game is just another solid game from him. Tonight, he was solid once again. He was 6 of 9 shooting. He had 14 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Another very solid effort. Very solid effort. So you can't be mad at that. And it just shows. And as I go through these next couple players, you're gonna see that these are actually our most consistent Knicks. These same 4 players have been the most consistent for us going forward. I think without these 4, the Knicks have a problem. I think that's when we run into issues. So if we're worried about health of players like Kemba Walker and other guys like Evan Fournier and Nerlens Noel and Mitchell Robinson, it's all important. We're going to need all those guys in the end. But without these 4, this Knicks team will be in a lot of trouble. The next person on the list I want to go to is Mr. R.J. Barrett. Now, R.J. had a very interesting game. He really didn't, go out there and play the way we would hope for him to play. The past 2 games, he probably put out much better offensive efforts. The shots were falling for him, and he was having a better time. This time was a little bit of a struggle. And he also had, some bad turnovers. Now, it's crazy. He had some bad turnovers, right? And in 2 separate occasions, he threw the pass right to the defender, like right in his face, right? But then, coincidentally, back on the defensive end, back down the end of the court, he forced the guy to miss the shot, grab the rebound. Another one, he forced the guy to miss the shot, he grabbed the rebound. So, even though he's making mistakes, he's atoning for it by getting back on the defensive end, hustling, and try to stop, the opposing player before they can, capitalize on his mistakes. That's a little thing to some people, but that's big to me. That to me shows that's another lesson in the maturity of R.J. Barrett, that he's becoming a better all-around player. Is he there yet? No. He clearly is not perfect. No one is, but he's getting better. That mistake that he made with the those turnovers definitely could have hurt the Knicks. But you know what? This is the type of effort you like to see. When a guy's shot is not falling, you want them to do all the little things to kind of help their team win. 12 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. And he had a block. I didn't put that there, but he also had a block. So this is the type of stuff that you want to see from a player that's having an off night. And like I said, once again, another step in the road to becoming a much better all-around player for Mr. R.J. Barrett. And then we get to the 2 stars of the show for the Knicks. Taj Gibson, old reliable. This is he might start to become the Mr. Fundamental for us. He's not Tim Duncan, but I'm telling you, this guy, he has become such a solid NBA player. His leadership, his IQ on the court, his hustle, all this at an older age. I mean, he's one of the oldest players on the Knicks, and he's still, when he goes out there like this, he shows you he's one of the best players on the court. It's just sometimes, even if you don't have the natural ability anymore, your IQ and just the way you play basketball makes up for it. I mean, 21 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. You want those numbers from anybody on the court. No, not to mention a guy who's been in the league for as many years as Taj, and is still out there, helping us on certain nights. Like any given night, Taj could be a big part of the offense, big part of the defense. Taj is just a great player, man. I can't say enough about Taj, and he's another stabilizing force on this Knicks team. This might be my big 4. Okay, it's not the big 3 that you're used to with some of these superstar teams, but it's the big 4, and as far as the big 4 players on the Knicks that are kind of, they're not expendable. You have to have these guys healthy in order to give yourself a good chance to win, each and every basketball game. So once again, kudos, big shout out to Taj Gibson for holding us down and showing that, this guy must have jumped in the fountain of youth, whatever he said something. They were interviewing him. He was talking about that, for breakfast he has, like bacon, egg, and cheese from the bodega. So he's still eating whatever he wants, still out there doing his thing, and he's in much better shape than myself and most Knicks fans. So kudos to Taj, man, once again. And last but certainly not least, big props, big shout out to Mr. the Black Messiah himself, Mr. Julius Randle, coming through after the birth of his baby boy. And he said, you know what, tonight's game, I'm gonna let y'all know that last year was not a fluke. That it's still me. I'm still Julius Randle, and I can still do this. 29 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. That's if that's not a Julius line, I don't know what is. He's right at his season averages from last year, basically. 29 points is a little more points than he averages, but the 11 rebounds, he averaged around 6 assists last year. I mean, what more can you ask for, man? What more can you ask for? Julius is the truth. And for those who still don't believe it, he's not the most improved player for nothing. You don't see the side-by-side picture of him flat-chested and then looking at him barrel-chested now and all the work he's put into his body. This is all the effort, man. This is the effort. He's a gym rat. He is, that next level of player that has that work ethic that people always talk about, that they're in the gym before everybody, they're in the gym after everybody. That's Julius. That's just who he is, man. His lessons, his teachings, all the talks from Kobe obviously has, definitely translated to his mindset and the way he plays. And definitely his effort when it comes to working out and getting better. So big props, big kudos to Julius Randle. This was a great, Knick victory to me because, like I said, this is an easy trap game. They easily could have lost this game the way they started playing that first half. And the fact that they came back in the third quarter, started to put the clamps on them, started to show them that, they're the Knicks and they play this type of defense. You're going to have to deal with it. That's what we love to see, man. Let's keep rooting for our team, and hopefully they just keep giving us these type of efforts. Of course, we'd rather see more of that second half effort than that first half effort, but we take what we can get as long as it ends in a W. I'm out of here. Take it easy, y'all.